Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to LCK 2019 Summer. We have a deciding match on our hands between Hanwha Live Esports and Afreeca Freecs. Afreeca able to tie things up in game number 2, but it wasn't necessarily convincing. It wasn't like what Hanwha did to them in game number 1. And now we've got a question on our hands as to whether or not Afreeca can overcome a Hanwha that are on a bit of a rampage, but weren't quite able to do it 2 games in a row.
We also have an important standings update. One of the darlings of Rift rivals, Kingzone Dragon X, have now been eliminated mathematically from making playoffs. They required 2 2-0 losses, one from Gen G, and today a 2-0 loss from the Afreeca Freecs. So I think in a lot of ways they probably assumed that it was out of their hands, that they wouldn't be able to qualify. It's now confirmed, so Kingzone drops out. Another one bites the dust. It is going to be 3 people for 2 spots. SK Telecom T1, Gen G, and the Afreeca Freecs, who need to win this match. Atlas, they need to be the ones, because it was their strength of schedule that made them most likely to make playoffs. Gen G have Damwon Gaming, and SKT Sandbox tomorrow. Who knows what to make of that?
Yeah, that could be an absolute riot. I'll be at home watching. Valdez will finally make his way into the LCK for week number 10 tomorrow. We're into champion select here for Afreeca versus Hanwha. We're going to switch back the sides as Afreeca on blue side. Once again, Skarner, Olaf, Corki have been the bans for them, regardless of side selection. Gragas, Ezreal, Taliyah were also the same bans, regardless of side.
They really wanted that first pick, Azir, in game number 1.
But the Akali was left available, which was a large reason why Tempt was able to control the mid-game.
What do we make of all this information then? With what's filtered out through this series, Taliyah ban. But you would think that Tempt has a Taliyah counter, so they're going to leave it open. And that's where we get really spicy, because Dread could also be picking it up in the jungle.
Taliyah was also a Ucal champion, if you remember back. He's no worries about that one, so he's going to be picking that one up. Oh, sorry, I got a little bit thrown over, but now Tempt, like you say, he's going to need to pick up a counter. What does he have for it? This is not a counter, but is certainly a champion that Tempt is very strong on.
We do have the flexibility of that Taliyah to play with, so how are we going to go? They're saying, well, let's give him his best champ, and we'll work it out from there. Azir will come through from Tempt. Pick of the litter of junglers could be considered, with Skarner and Gragas already ripped from the headlines in this one.
Now, yeah, bonO,
hasn't been a Zyra Kande, has it? And they're just going to go straight up Thresh here. So take away from Senan. I wonder if Aiming and Senan would consider Zyra Kande.
Or whether now they want to go for a Yuumi lane. They could do that if they want to.
The Draven lane they hovered in game number 1.
Ooh, that would be
Draven Morgana does a number on Thresh, let me tell you.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just run straight at him.
Well, do it, Freeca, do it. 4 seconds to go now. Nautilus.
All right, going ultra comfort here. If Senan does lock it in, would be his 13th game of Nautilus this season.
And remember, there is that hook priority system, which the Nautilus is able to win.
Yep. He definitely wins the order priority. We saw this at Worlds a lot last year.
Thank you very much, Jat, for driving us through.
And he's back again, so we can talk about Jat all the time and feel cherry ripe about it. No Phase looking down the list, and he's not going to go Lucian. He's not going to go Draven. He's going to go Kai'Sa to potentially swoop in alongside Taliyah to potentially do some sick side lane plays.
Yep, I like it. It's very similar to what Aiming was able to do in a lot of their victories, actually, where he just presses Killer Instinct, and it's almost like Suicide Instinct. Diving into the backline, gets a lot of damage done, and sets things up. There's no Corki availability, so it's not as similar to that, but still an option as Sangyoon's going to go back to the Xayah Comfort.
And you know who had a game 1 Suicide Instinct? The entire Afreeca Freecs roster.
There we go.
And we're getting champions that fight, and it's not so much about the scaling. So I think No Face nailed it. No need to think about late games or lull states. Just continue with the bloody action. That action will not be surveyed by a blind monk. Dread gonna have one of his picks taken away, and I just hope they keep banning champions until the only possible option is Kindred.
Well, the Ionian Blade Mistress herself is going to leave the Rift, as now Hanwha have that back in their court again. I think the Elise, if you're going to ban the Elise in, you may as well ban Dread's Elise as well. But no, Silas is going to be thrown in there.
Oh, just do it. Just don't ban the SoHwan. Of course, Hanwha Live takes it, and then we go boar hunting season with the Kiin.
Yeah.
No!
Oh, man, never mind. Well, I mean, I like the idea, but of course it wasn't going to happen. Dread doesn't play fun champions, and they pick away the Elise, and so now his champion pool is even thinner. You know, this is the perfect time to play either Kiin or the Kindred.
The Kindred. Only the Kindred.
Please just do it, Dread. Come on, man. You've got like a 65% win rate in solo queue over like 1,000,000 games.
Yeah, okay. And now Kindred.
Yeah, Kindred, please.
He's not going to play Kindred. It would be lovely if he did, though.
Imagine if they locked in Mordekaiser Kindred for
Olaf
Phantom
would make a
bonus
lot
as
of
well.
sense here.
Oh my goodness. Please don't play with our hearts like this. Don't
They've
play with
hovered
our
it
hearts
before.
Like this. I know. They hover it all the time, Papa, and I get sad
It would
every
actually,
time.
I mean, the Azir is pretty good against it, but the Elise gets answered pretty well by Kindred when it comes to teamfight impact. The murmurs continue. Is he really? He's going to do it!
Oh, thank God! We've been baited all season. I wasn't ready to believe in the hover, but we've done it. Afreeca Freecs lock away Dread's signature pick. We've got signature picks all over this game. Kiin's Jace, a fantastic one. Ucal on the Talia, and Dread picking up the Kindred. The top side of the map is stacked for Afreeca Freecs. And now, where is SoHwan going to go? As we're going late, is what Hanwha was saying.
We got scoops, we got hemoplagues, and we've got that Lamb's Respite. Definitely going to be a target on that one from the Azir, but if Azir ain't scooping, Lamb's Respite actually seems very likely to persist and be the invulnerability it's intended to be. Spicy pick. He's held on to it all summer season. Dread is an infamous Kindred. He had an 80% win rate on this champion last year. It is his second most played with a 65% win rate this year. He always finds a way to make Kindred work, but this is in a must-win for all the marbles scenario, where if they lose, they are very unlikely to make playoffs.
Yep, Dance of Arrows actually works very, very well. Like you were talking about, it's a good matchup into the Elise because you can dance aside from the Cocoon. Makes her very difficult to lock down for the Spider Lady and just does a lot of early game damage. If you can get the jump on someone.
What is it with this week? We had the Xerath we called for, we got the
Yeah, you get the
Kindred
Morgana
we're
as
called for.
well.
Oh, it's just delightful.
Yeah, it's working out. I mean, I wasn't ready, man. They were, even up until 1 second, I was like, oh no, they're bound to switch over to Trundle. That was what I was expecting. But thank goodness I was wrong.
Trundle's pretty good against Elise, though.
Oh, that's true. It's not like this. It's one pick up like we were projecting.
I think Olaf would have made some sense, but some people are Olafs and some people are Kindreds. And you know what? Tarzan is the opposite. He's pretty bad at Kindred. You know who's good at Kindred? It's Dread.
Oh, hell yeah. Well, we'll see whether you can translate that solo queue experience onto Kindred and Lamb in the jungle. But it all comes down to this for the Afreeca Freecs trying to hold on to their playoff dreams. Let's see if they can. All right, here we are, the deciding game. Of course, if Afreeca lose this, they're not out of playoff contention. However, the stars will need to align for them to be able to get there. It'll require Gen G to lose by a worse or the same margin as them.
Been a long time since he's played Kindred on his main account. In case you guys are wondering, so we talked about how Tarzan was rank 1 and rank 3. Dread is rank 5, so he's right up there in solo queue as well. He's always been a monster solo queue player, even when the team was struggling in spring season.
Yep.
Last Kindred game on main was 16 days ago. If you're wondering what his kind of route, because you can, of course, choose between the Blood Razor and the Warrior. Warrior played the Ruin King on that particular day. So we'll wait and see if that's going to be the selection today. Not a particularly tanky enemy team, so he's got a lot of options.
Yeah.
Is spotted on a ward bot side, and actually, I will potentially look for a catch here.
Yeah. Aiming and sending in a worrying scenario as there's the dredge line. They look for Key, aiming a fair bit of damage, and he does manage to get those stacks in, but Key has to flash to get himself out of the way. bonO is distracted by a blue buff, and Afreeca are just continuing. bonO has to flash. The flash forward from aiming. They find the Q. Aiming finds the kill,
no!
and a damn blue buff given a... Given over to Aiming. That's right. He says, I'll take it because I did all the work, Ucal.
They had the information advantage, and they literally lost everything. They lost both their buffs.
Yeah. And this means even more because this is a Kindred, the queen of wanting to counter jungle, and now Aiming and Senan have found Key yet again. What happened to Hanwha?
Caster Dongjun let out this sort of, that sounded like his wife had filed for divorce.
Yeah.
That's how much pain there was in his voice, because now your boy bonO is
The Spiderlings are filing for divorce right now.
That's
they don't
true.
Want
They're not going to respawn. They've got
Spiderlings.
better places to be.
Oh, hell yeah, they do.
They heard TFT's the hot place to be. Screw Summoner's Rift.
Uh-huh. There was a buff to Demons. All right, we off. We out of here. What a disaster. Feels like...
oh, and it's a machete as well. Oh, no. Well, he's staying in spider form, not using those abilities too much. Now, the worst part is that they saw Kindred and the double invade top sides. They have the information advantage, and yeah, they don't respect how much damn damage Kai'Sa can do and how little damage Thresh can take. And why is bonO not helping with the 3v2? He's trying to take the blue buff, and the moment that they start losing the 2v2, bonO just dies as an afterthought, as a bonus.
Yeah. I do want to draw attention to the fact that Aiming did not miss an auto attack timing throughout that entire phase. He was in rhythm with his auto attacks and did not cancel one, nor was out of position to land the next one every time.
And I don't know.
Real clean.
I play enough jungle to know this feel when you get, well, okay, let's hold the point. It's every angle possible.
God, okay. Well, Tempt is going to at least find the best possible way out. Has to use the flash, but otherwise he was guaranteed dead, so really nicely done.
As a mostly jungle player over my history, let me tell you, Atlas.
Tell me.
If you go buffless against a Kindred, whose whole job is to get the hell into your enemy jungle and yank your stuff, your life is basically the worst ever.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. That's when you say jungle difference. In all chat, Ucal is having a few problems with his computer.
That's all right. It's not a game issue, so at least that's hopefully just a restart or a fixer-upper.
Yep. He's like, wait, no, isn't it us that's supposed to be making these crazy mistakes in the early game? No, as it turns out, you're absolutely fine, Ucal. He's like, oh no, I thought I got the blue card.
I'm just so scared of, it's so crappy to be Elise in this game.
Man.
Elise from behind against Kindred.
And from behind at minute 1.
As Elise.
Yeah.
Already it's not very good for her.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, Elise normally has, like, at least a few minutes where she feels good. There was 0
from
minutes.
She's strong, but you're right.
Yeah.
I actually really think they should have made a clear call there. You just go in as 3, right? Yes, you got only a W and some autos, but you were brawling super hardcore as the 2v2. Instead, he tried to take blue buff, and then they were kiting up to him, and he was caught in the crossfire, but he was squished. Thoroughly squished.
Yep. Just this itsy-bitsy spider is going to struggle to climb up the water spout. That's all I'm going to say, and certainly it is. There's going to be a lot of rain coming down. Those rivers are not going to be a place for the Elise to be. So it feels like those first couple of marks that Kindred is going to be fed should be easily picked up.
The Twitch chat open because we have the pause and Peanuts getting in there memeing.
Oh, nice.
He's, of course, watching with a keen eye as Gen G have that tough match against Dumb1 Gaming coming up.
Wishing you luck there, Peanut. We're going to check out the replay. I believe it was an in-game issue that we're considering right now. Not 100% sure as we're going to check out the replay of that level 1 play. Just watch Aiming's threading of auto attack. It's a joy.
bonO's swallowing blue buff during this time. I feel like as a team, you need to come to a consensus because, of course, they have to kite upwards, right? They oopsied and lost the 2v2. And then bonO is just taking aggro from both the blue Sentinel and also the Elise.
Yeah. I don't know what he was really thinking. Oh, there we go. The slow-mo on Aiming. Let's see what he says after he takes the blue.
We got the translation. I believe he said, holy shush.
Yes, yes. I think that's a direct Atlas quote from yesterday. Oh my god. Ucal never stops giving us the gold. Every time. Absolutely perfect.
An exuberant boy is
I'm now really happy because we can quote holy sh every single time. And
it's better than unholy shush.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit more room to move. I know you're really good at your giving a mundos, but now I feel like holy shush being allowed is that's brilliant.
I mean, to be fair, I believe Afreeca are the team that's been caught red-handed saying naughty words the most.
Yes, that's true. Apart from Genji and Ruler when he gets his pentas stolen.
That's true. He also said a different shush.
Yes. That was a word, but translation
of the Korean
not going
variety.
to be that one. Is Aiming Fan in the audience here. Big waves coming out. As Kiin looking stoic as ever in his
Yumi's
fan
looking
sign.
pretty stoic there as well.
Oh, Key
Oh,
fans.
a key fan. Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Another Yumi.
Wait.
What? That's
What's
a door.
happening? Is this some sort of like... It feels like I'm playing the Incredible Machine and trying to put together some
I
sort of...
loved that
It was
game.
a wonderful game.
Oh, my goodness.
At the end of it, does it lead to playoffs? Does it lead to away from playoffs?
What, playing Incredible Machine?
That particular, like, piping that I was looking at there.
Wasn't it a door? It was a door,
I
like,
couldn't
looking
tell.
at the... I think it was
couldn't
a
tell,
side of-
Atlas. I saw piping.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's what, 10:15?
Oh.
Yep. Oh, hey. Welcome.
Sacre plaisir. I believe it says Sacre plaisir.
Thank you very much, good sir, for moving up the sign.
Seems like a couple in the audience here. It says
Sangyoon
Sangyoon
fighting.
Well, very, very nice there. His parents, his dad was here earlier. I'm sure he's still around.
Yep. In fact, Sangyoon's parents are often here at
Whoa! It's Thomas.
That is certainly Thomas.
He's PO'd. Playoff ready.
Sangyoon looks like Kench. This is an old meme, guys. The Sangyoon Tom Kench meme.
Here's our thick boy that we talked about.
Yep, Dread.
Kindred.
He's certainly pretty stacked.
He was
The
a
old
swimmer,
Dread?
from what I understand. That's
Yeah.
why the body type makes sense.
That's why his shoulders are so wide.
You don't see that very often. We got Tal.
Well, there's not a lot of swimmers here
I
in
feel like
Korea.
if Tal was playing, it'd be Tal and Dread have that body type, and then the rest, of course.
I think Smeb is getting there.
That's true. I haven't seen him in so long, I forget.
Yeah. Think of him as that sort of build anyway. But fans from Hong Kong also in the audience just there before we pop down to check in on how Ucal's been doing. Not sure what we're checking out. I'm hoping to get a
Hello
more
to
clear one as-
Manchester.
Wow, welcome.
G2 fan there.
How close to the complete other side of the world is Manchester?
Pretty damn close.
It's pretty close to about as far you
from
could have come
Australia,
from.
not so much from Korea, right? But from Australia especially.
I mean, we're what, like one time zone away.
There we go. Afreeca Freecs. There's the roster we know and love. I haven't seen Spirit in so long, and it makes me sad.
I know, me too.
Big friend of the English broadcaster Spirit. There is Sangyoon's parents, dad on the right there, who's been smiling through many different broadcast companies. Saw him at Spo TV Stadium, he came down to OGN, traveled around Seoul and probably the world to see his son play.
Yep. Through all the iterations of where
You know what we
Sangyoon
need to
has
film,
been.
right?
What do we need to film?
Cap's dad, Sangyoon's dad.
Oh, and Darius's dad.
Yeah,
The
Dadris.
the famous famous League of
Wait,
Legends
who's
dads.
the CN dad then? And we'll need an LMS dad as well.
Oh, we'll need to find all the dads.
That's true.
We'll have to have a chat to.
And you know who has to host the interview? Papa.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is
Woo!
you were setting that up, weren't you?
No, but I
It's
got
all
there
about
in the
you
end.
in the end.
Yeah.
All about Papa
All
Smith.
about Big Papa.
Well, you won't be the biggest papa in that room. I've met Daddy Riss. That guy's huge.
But if they get around to it, I would love it if they would call me Big Papa. So.
You're the metaphorical big papa to
Thank you.
everyone. Don't you worry.
I'll take what I can get.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
Well, we're taking some time.
I know,
What
and
you
I'm-
can get now is some time, Papa Smith.
Well,
you
I
got
w-
plenty of.
if I'm Hanwha Live Esports, I'm investigating potential bugs this game could have had that would force a remake.
Yeah, it's called the Elise you have in your jungle.
I mean, can you report that bug now? Would Riot consider the remake option for that bug?
Nope. They'd consider maybe a game over. You could have a...
You can't surrender pre-15, okay?
Yeah, I know, but I mean, as the time goes on, we're getting to 15, aren't we? We can convince the timer to keep ticking, is what Hanwha are looking for. I mean, I'm just saying that this is a very dire situation for Hanwha Life to start this game off. Crazier things have happened, though, and if they do manage to stem the bleeding, they have a composition that can defy a gold lead. But,
Yeah,
that's going to take about 40 minutes.
will Elise ever do anything in this
No.
game at all?
No.
What end of game damage numbers are we going to get for this Elise?
Oh, no, I don't need
Is he going to get above 4K?
4K.
Just remember, Q is pretty non-committal and does theoretically maximum health.
It's true.
Right? So
That's true. All right. I wonder how many combos he's actually going to be able to get down, and it's Dread, so I think it's probably going to be over 4K. I think it'll be 4.4.
it's fun.
Sorry, bonO. It's been a long day.
That's fair. I got you there. All right, you got a day off alongside me tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be Valdez NLS coming through for tomorrow's games. In case you guys are looking forward, it is Kingzone KT, which suddenly is actually really important for KT.
Oh, hell yeah.
And not
That's a big
not
matchup.
important at all for Kingzone, apart from Pride. They've got a lot of pride to win back, but they were one of our best teams not a month and a half ago. So interesting to see if KT can get that win. Hanwha Life win today, of course. That becomes a must-win for KT. Actually, no.
Yeah, it becomes a nothing match.
It becomes
actually.
a nothing match. As here's a something match, Afreeca versus Hanwha Life. In case you guys are joining us late, Afreeca need to win to keep their playoff hopes as tip-top as possible. Nothing guaranteed, even a 2-1 win. So the scenario, the worst scenario would be, from a Afreeca perspective, is you win 2-1, Genji beat Damwon Gaming 2-0, and then you actually still don't make playoffs because SKT would find it very difficult to get game score lower. But if SKT lose, then actually you both go through.
Yep. It just means that SKT has to lose in a certain way based on the result of this one. Oh, they have to lose in... Yeah, it's a perplexing
We got
scenario.
conditionals because there's so many
We do.
matches left to be played. This particular match, we're trying to work out if Elise can do something because she just desperately needs level 3, and she, you know, she's holding up a sign. You know, when you go down the road and they're like, need food.
Yeah, this is a hitchhiker that no one's picking up. That is absolutely true.
To be fair, you're rolling down the street in your Chevy. Do you pick up the spider? No, you don't. It's a spider.
Generally not. I mean, unless you do a back swing, which probably happens a fair bit. But that spider is generally dead on your windscreen, which is
very
largely
possible.
bonO's playstyle this game.
Really possible for this game.
Oh dear. That analogy got out of my
Dread
out
is
of-
being
out of way.
a big jerk, as you always do on Kindred. Oh, good, a mark.
Yeah,
Now
that
he
is
has
another
two.
mark. He went from mark to mark. That's literally the optimal. Kindred pathing allowed. Good lord.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 marks is the magical number to get
Hang
that
on a
extra
second.
75
Is he on
range.
3? Was he already
2.
hunting Elise at the start of the game?
No, it's 2. I saw the number. It was
Oh,
2.
you had a look at it. Yeah.
So 2 more to get to the mythical 4 mark when you get that extra 75 range.
Mm-hmm. And it's looking easier and easier this game. I'll have to update you as that changes on the minimap. bonO counter jungling.
Yeah!
Nice. They're the only camps he had available.
It's going to get him level 4, so at least he's only, you know, maybe like a level and a quarter behind. That's something.
Nice.
Hey,
Okay,
you
yeah.
saw the start of this game.
Yeah, Vegas can't be choosers. As Ucal here in the mid lane, nothing to really worry about this stage.
But you know what the problem is when your release is this far behind?
Everything.
Yes, but indirectly, it's Kiin is like, huh, there ain't no enemy jungler. Talia
Oh, no.
doesn't give a crap about the enemy jungler. Everybody gets to walk up, and then suddenly, everyone has to deal with your issue.
Yep. Thing is, as well, is that Kiin can play back to his old style, you know? He was a very Noguri-esque top laner.
This is definitely an
in his early
executioner's
days.
calling game, because you know you're going to be as aggro as you want to be.
Oh, yeah. And Kiin mechanically is fantastic. He just sort of got a bit of a head on his shoulders and has learnt how to play a more respective game.
Oh, the buffless attempt is happening. bonO should go get that blue buff ASAP.
Yep. We'll be able to get on over there, but it's so predictable. And being able to predict an Elise like this around the map on Afreeca's side, that's a big yikes. She wants to be lying in wait in the shadows with their enemies unaware. Not going to be the case.
Now, Afreeca's comms were definitely off in game number 1 when we saw them triple control ward a brush when they're trying to check the Baron. It's very, very easy for Dread to basically, with close to 95% certainty, know all of Elise's moves for the rest of the game, or at least until the laning phase is over. Because she's going to whichever camp she can get to, right? There's still a...
That wolf was denied
Yeah.
for so long.
And now, where the hell does she go? She's got nothing.
Bottom lane for a lane game.
Like, that is literally the only place she could go until the Gromp respawn.
Yep.
So you just have to play around a very low value Lantern Flash forward Flake Coon gang
Ooh, RNG going to be in the favor of bonO, though, as the camp is Bertha. It does have that mark on it. Not a chance that Dread can head over there, but he's level 6. bonO's level 4. And look, here's the attempt. bonO's going to make his way down. Control ward here in this brush. At least they know that bonO should be able to make his way in here.
But even with that possibility of communication, Afreeca could still mess it up.
Hook is going to land. All 3 of them are down here. Yep,
They messed it up.
throws his life away. As Dread, he's soloing down the Infernal Drake, and he says to Aiming, just don't give it away. Don't get over here. And he isn't. The Drake is going to go down. So Dread secures that one for his team. They lose their support. But all is still relatively well for the Afreeca Freecs.
The only way that
bonO got the kill.
possibly he needed that. Absolutely, yeah. Atlas. But you got to ask why Senan was checking the second brush that aggressively when the only place the enemy jungle can be is left side. It's too easy, right? Like, your jungler's taking Infernal. He's not counter-ganking, so that was quintessential.
What a great news story is Ucal. Not a heck of a lot of mana here. He's gone once again for a very popular Mercury Tread start. Just to get that cheeky amount of magic resist to help you withstand the damage of the Azir. Each point of magic resist feels better and better the more consistent damage that you're taking, as far as magic damage is concerned. Dread gets himself another mark.
Oh boy, we're at 3 already.
Yeah.
This is the
one more, and then he's on gigantic range.
Yeah. It's not feast or famine. We're having a feast here. We're having an all-you-can-eat buffet on the marks. Apparently, they're available off cooldown here, and it'll be very early.
And you only need 4 to feel like a pretty good 80 carry. Honestly, like that is some decent range.
I think it's 600 from memory. I can check that.
Yeah.
So, base range on Kindred 500. It's 575. I tell a lie. So 575. Yeah.
Yeah. 575
big, right?
is a pretty good 80 carry. That's Varus Ash, right? Isn't it? Something like that.
Ash is 600. My goodness range. For some reason, I knew all these off the top of my head.
Yeah, I haven't been that. I've always defaulted to you for the range stats.
I think it's probably Varus at 575. It's definitely more than 550.
Yeah, 550 is Lucian and Co. I wonder when Tristana is 570 range.
Lucian's 500, right?
Didn't he get buffed?
It's possible. Range is something we just never talk about anymore,
Range
right?
is something that changes in like those, the simple buffs tab.
Here's a simple Rift Herald.
Yep, Shelly gonna pop down and there's a Hemo Plague, SoHwan. Just going to say, well, this is going to do some damage to these minions and not really going to mean too much as Dread comes on over. This is the IKEA gank. Shelly comes on in, steals all your crockery, donates the money over. Look at that. She takes it to the pawn shop as well for you and gives you the cash back. So good.
Gold lead.
Oh, wait, can Shelly call it the prawn shop? Is that what she did?
No, no. Stop it, Alice.
Okay, my apologies.
Freeca, look at this, being very respectful on their weak side. When do they slow down on the respect? It's now.
Aiming, supercharging his way out. Has to flash. Good respect there for Kiin. As Ucal, walking on his own ward, trying to find his way down there, decides not to pull the trigger on the Weaver's Wall.
I nailed it, even though I wasn't confident. 575 Varus. I remembered that one.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
600 Ashe, 500 Lucian.
Oh,
He's
Lucian.
short range.
Okay, he is 500. Okay.
So 575 for Kindred seems imminent. Wait for the next mark to be generated. I wish on the overlay we saw who he had Mark of the Kindred on.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. You can see it in the character pane.
Yes.
So if you look on down, it was on bonO last time. He was on screen. We'll have to update you if that one comes in. Because I believe, did someone just pick it up? No, he didn't. That was Summon Airy being donated over to him. And Dread does have the Elise.
It's upon a spider.
Oh god, spotted him out of position. Goes into spider form. One more auto would have been a very, very dead Elise. And Kiin now trying to make his way over. But my god, the burn was just disgusting. bonO was taking damage for about forever, thanks to Skirmish's Saber.
Yeah, an EQ from Kiin, he was dead
Yeah.
as could be. As now he wants even more, but SoHwan's here.
Yeah, just hops over that wall. He's even able to
get
grab
back
the big
into.
one. Yeah. What a cheeky little devil. Playing with his mobility really nicely. He's ahead by the most huge margin as there's the depth charge. bonO is going to avoid it. Isn't going to use his flash, but he's going to get one out of Senan.
Are we
That's
doing
good
this?
news. Look, looking for the dive. Hemoplay's back up yet again, as Dread with his big range is able to offer some damage back. And the Hemoplague once again is going to be used in desperation and not going to achieve too much.
And we don't have a lot of these Graves, Kindred-style junglers, but if you push the enemy off the turret, you're taking it real fast. So
oh, hell yeah.
They're definitely going to be able to pick up this turret. It'll Jace to solo gold, and a reset is allowed for Kindred. Going Hex Drinker here, so understand there's a lot of AoE wombo magic damage. Spot lane.
Yep, they're going to get the timepiece out of Senan, as sangyoon able to do a lot of damage and does have the safety of the lantern. That's great news. Aiming hits that level 9 mark, going to get that first evolve as he has finally reached the right stacks on his Manamune. bonO comes down and spotted by aiming. Killer Instinct is going to come in and just pops him. See you later, Spider Lady. You're not playing the game anymore this time around.
I saw that one coming, but apparently bonO didn't see it fast enough. He needs to RE into the air as fast as possible, but...
How often does that happen, though? I mean, I don't think as a jungler you're really prepared for that kind of response to, I'm getting ganked, oh, I'll kill him then.
Kindred could actually just kill sangyoon here.
He's waiting for sangyoon to start channeling the back.
sangyoon doesn't know. He cancelled his back.
He wants the minion wave,
yeah. That's why he canceled his back to get on the minions.
Yeah. He's going to avoid the Void Seeker. That's a confusing thing to say. I don't believe this is a mark. Oh, it is. It is a mark. Yeah, Dread's going to be able to get another one.
Hey, 575 range already.
Yikes.
14 minutes into the game. Not the fastest possible, but for pro play, especially for the LCK, insanely early.
Mm-hmm. That's going from Lucian to
no.
Avaris.
This is going to hurt.
As Dread is just going to wander over. Hit key.
He got his after shot. That's important.
Just dodges over the death sentence. And there is the seismic shove that Tempt did not want to take. Ucal right there in time. Senan dredge lining over. Depth charge onto sangyoon. Not exactly the greatest target, but is going to get the heal out of the Xayah.
And everything has flowed on from the jungler's woes this game, because Kindred has just got to be the Kindred of the champion spotlight, contesting every single mark. Oh god. Hanwha are trying to collapse to help, but they're doing so with inferior tools. None of the people on Afreeca Freecs ever even remembered the jungler was in the game.
And that's another dragon going for free over to the Afreeca Freecs. Ocean Drake is completed. Ucal having the time of his life on his favorite champion is going to be behind in farm by just a little bit. Tempt is navigating this lane quite nicely, but the game is happening around him, really. And how these guys play agricultural League of Legends is almost irrelevant. In goes aiming. See you later, bomb.
Just to be fair, the W this early in the game did so much damage.
Yeah.
Did like 300 damage, and he at least has like 500 health, so.
And it was a... it's now a 2-0 aiming, but remember, he picked up the first blood as well. And the Elise just... How do you become relevant? I mean, is there even...
No.
Is there a way? I don't think so.
You find a way to get a Baron cheekily with Azir at level, you know, really early. Like if Thresh suicides his whole health bar, I mean, Elise and Azir might be able to do Baron not that slowly, but yeah, I mean, in terms of team fights, no, right? Elise always fell off in terms of 5v5. It's much more... The whole point of Elise is I walk around and can turret dive anyone with incredible burst damage. And if I have capitalization CC like a Renekton, it's going to be happy days for me. But this was a game where, you know, you can't really go topside because the Vladimir doesn't provide that much help. The mid lane, post 6 was a possibility, bot lane was a possibility, but in the end, it didn't matter after level 1. After level 1, wherever Elise was going, she was going to be swatted. And that is not what you want to see.
No. It is close to a 2,000 gold lead in the jungle. Well, 1.2. No, we're not quite getting there. I tell a lie. But in a game that's 2-1 as far as the kill score is concerned, not what's to be expected. The Cocoon is going to land. bonO has to get the hell out of it. As the result of this game is, oh, wow, that gap was tiny. I think Thresh has been working out. He pulled his gut in a lot there. No hitbox on the lantern, apparently.
Got a self-improvement we can all be happy about. Oh, that was a little smorgasbord of damage. Put down the 5 seconds of Weaver's Welcome by Turret. Nice set piece here from Afreeca.
Yeah, that's a clean one. That's not what we were seeing again. Well, how is he threading this needle? The Void Seekers are almost like missing.
Have Afreeca taken every red buff they have?
And they're going to continue to do so. We'll have to count to see whether Hanwha have had one this game.
They have not.
Sorry, ever get one this game.
Yep.
Keep the count.
We will keep a keen eye. What is it, 2250 or so? Respawn timer will come up. To be fair, they haven't gotten a lot of jungle camps.
No. And it's just exactly the game state that you want as a Kindred. Somehow, Dread has been able to manufacture the perfect Kindred game. Not off his own doing. It was off aiming and Senan just auto-attacking all of the members of Hanwha until they died.
Well, happy news for Hanwha Life. For sure, Dread is tilted that the Mark just spawned on Krugs after we took the other 2 camps on the red side jungle.
Yeah, frustrating. But he's not as tilted because he looks down at his items, observes that he has a Hex Drinker and completed Warrior Enchant with Berserker's Greaves and a Luxury Longsword at 18.5 minutes into the game. It's pretty strong for a jungler right now, and the rest of his team are all the better for it. We've got a Rage Blade done, as well as the Manamune, aiming going down the more AP route, certainly the one that he wants. You could expect a Nash's Tooth to come in as the third big completed item.
3 marks more for Dread to become the proverbial Ashe and get into the 600 range. Wouldn't it be hype if he hit Kindred, though? Sorry, hit Caitlyn levels today.
Wow.
It's unlikely. It's quite a lot of marks to get there. To be a Caitlyn, you need 13 marks, which the game's not going to stop.
No. Not quite. She can get to the longest range of the game, right?
So the maximum, it's capped at 25 stacks, which would be 750 range.
Yeah.
I think that's more than both Tristana and Kog'Maw get.
I'm trying to think about, you know, W-activated Kog'Maw as well as level 18 Trist.
Trist got shorter.
Yeah, it did, right?
With the last changes, I think a year ago. I want to say Kog'Maw's some really weird number, like 730 or something.
Yeah, that's with the Bioarcane Barrage,
yes.
right?
But that's all from the top of my head. I don't have anything open to check that. FLICKR's going to take another free turret here because it turns out that having lots of 80 carries and a Talia is pretty good.
Yeah. This is the Siege dream. But honestly, talking about words like that, these archetypal type descriptors, just doesn't really have much of an effect. It's a 5,000 gold lead. The Baron has only just reared his beautiful head.
Now, this will never happen, but you know what the dream for me would be?
What's that?
That Hanwha Life surrenders and Dread wins MVP as 0-0-0.
We were having this conversation asking about whether or not there was a 0 kills game that is being completed, and there hasn't.
We've had 3 this game, so the perfect game for Hanwha Life is not a concern.
Yep. Being able to, yeah. The perfect continuation from this game for Hanwha Life. If Hanwha play as well as they can, and Afreeca play predictably and not awfully, right? Is there a way that Hanwha can manufacture any winning moment?
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, Azir and Vlad, Zaya's incredible scaling on the red side. And while Elise will do epic nothing, Kindred can also get caught in AoE. Like, there's a lot of ways Afreeca could lose this game in a theoretical 60k to 60k game. It's just they have so little control of their destiny. They are absolutely like the crying kids in the back.
Yeah.
Of the family vacation. That these are the scenarios they can do literally nothing against. What do? You lose a turret every time.
Yep. The dream Siege composition is coming together here on the Afreeca side. In a turret in the mid lane as well just means so much of the jungle that bonO was desperately trying to farm when he had multiple turrets in the mid lane. Because now not belong to him. There's
further issues, right? Why did they go Elise? A lot of jungle bans, and let's pick a jungler that can bridge to the late game where Azir and Vlad would get there.
And deny it from Dread as well, right?
Exactly. But the problem is you drop a 3rd magic damage dealer, so actually Tempt and SoHwan need Void Staffs now, and the bridge literally collapsed in the planning stages at level 1. Yep. The bridge was already... this was a flimsy idea, and unfortunately a very, very flimsy bridge. And now they're behind, they can't deal with the siege, and they need the Void Staff on top, or to go for a 2nd item Void Staff for SoHwan, just because, yeah, the magic resist is already insanely ludicrous on the side of Afreeca. The Banshee Veil's on the way for Ucal, no doubt.
Yep. And it's just too easy to pick up these things like the Hex Drinker. More of Malmortius is now done from Dread.
He wants to frontline. Yep. He might go Mercure Scimitar next.
The synergy, by the way, guys, with the Lifeline passive as well as the Lamb's Respite is just about as gigantic as it could possibly be. course, Lifeline requiring you to go down low of the more of Malmortius variety, and then, of course, your ultimate preventing you from ever dying in that situation. So it works pretty well.
And the map is long in the mid lane, long in the bot lane, and the Baron will not be long in life, as that's a lot of AD carries to hit him.
He's long in neck, though.
Kai'Sa has already got 3 evolves as well. It's just an unmitigated disaster.
That being said, if you're an Afreeca fan, things working out really well, and especially if you're a Dread fan, because this is the pick we've wanted to see from him for oh so incredibly long.
And if you're an SKT fan, you're very tilted.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that it's not possible, but you gotta win tomorrow. Or hope that the Gen G scenario, Damwon Gaming, do you a favor.
This is the Chaos style that Afreeca were born in. Shock Blast checking up here towards the top side as Kiin is going to continue pushing things forward. Dread going to deny the Krug camp. Next mark is going to be on the blue buff. But 4 is a hell of a lot. As Weaver's Wall set up once again. I've seen this play before, Papa.
It's no counterplay.
Yeah. There's a reason why. They kill it just way too fast. It's key. Can't get into position for a flank, and SoHwan goes to the teleport. Can't get there.
Also, it's against double heal, more Malmortius, magic resist stacking, and Kindred.
Yep.
With all flashes up. So, yeah, I mean, you could try it.
Unless Tempt is there to sweep them off the Lamb's Respite, what does SoHwan do in a team fight?
You know,
Die.
probably not very much.
I mean, I feel like Lamb's Respite just lasts too long. There's Hook is going to land here on the
out of
Senan. They
position.
get the play, they get the flash out of him as well. His Death Charge comes forward. Aftershock is decent, but all the C is going to be there. Sorry, CC. Nautilus is dead, not able to get the pickoffs just yet as Key, taking a lot, but SoHwan gets in there. Okay, he's just going to die. Great timing. Seismic shove there from Ucal and trading top laner for support. I'll take that as Afreeca Freecs every day of the week. Vision now going to be cleared. Do Afreeca decide to go for it 4v4? Yep. Looks like the answer may be a yes, as I don't know how aiming is missing these.
Dread wants Tempt to face check because Dread has huge damage. Onto the Baron we go. Its health bar will explode because aiming is Kai'Sa and Kindred is pretty fast at doing Baron.
Yep, bonO's going to make his way over here. It's going to be pretty late that Afreeca find out that they are there, but it doesn't matter. The Baron is dead so damn fast. 25 minutes, and that evaporated.
Don't even need a Mountain Drake.
Nope.
Senan gets caught here and doesn't have his stopwatch. We saw him use it earlier. He R's. He ends up turning around. He realizes there's no way he's going to get out. His death is fine, but someone will pay the price. Afreeca Freecs are full of damage. It ends up being SoHwan.
Yep. Hemoplague does nothing. SoHwan, honestly, in the same boat. He sort of fell prey to how the game state went after the Vladimir had no jungler in a game where he was against a Jace, a difficult lane anyway. 41 is going to be the CS margin between these two. He did manage to pick up a kill earlier on and has a Void Staff now, but like you were saying, they desperately need to build Void Staffs just because of how far behind they are, and it's more a symptom of how this game state is as to why this is such an anemic build from the Nemo man.
And it just feels so bad because Afreeca epically squishy, right?
Yeah.
So, sort of game where you could go multiple AD threats on Hanwha Life, and actually Afreeca wouldn't have great itemization to answer it, but because it's multiple magic damage threats, those more Malmortius shields are so useful for how they want to play the game. And that just means that, you know how you play the QSS tax if you're against a Skarner? They're almost paying a triple magic damage comp tax on Hanwha Life on their own choice of elites.
Yep. In their case, actually, the magic resist isn't the tax. It's, in fact, exactly what the Afreeca Freecs want to build.
It's a harsh one.
Yep. Weaver's Wall comes out yet again as Dread does have the ultimate available. The lifeline does come down. He gets booped off it. Flashes to get back on top. Tempt almost gets solo, but is able to get that kill onto Dread. A huge confidence boost here for Hanwha. If this happens any more times, it might be a situation where Hanwha can find themselves back in, and that is also a huge amount of power back in the hands of Hanwha with Baron still running.
Dread just walking up with no business there, didn't have the priority to make a play like that. Flashes back in, and you see the frenzied stats from the Malmortius, the lifesteal, the spell vamp, etc. Almost actually proved the difference between the two, but Tempt keeps his flash. Dread's ult and flash on cooldown, and the pressure abated on this Baron. It hasn't been the 5,000. It threatened to be because they actually already took almost all of the hard objectives before the play ever happened.
Yep, and they'd set themselves up. I mean, look at all of these control wards that Afreeca had around this map. They just allowed Hanwha to take themselves into the jungle. Ucal not going to. Oh, no. That repel, not exactly the option you want to go for, and that's what buys the time for Afreeca Freecs to take down their first inhibitor turret. Top side of the map, Kiin still getting work done as SoHwan is looking for it. Control ward's going to spot him. As the Vladimir does have to make his way towards top side now. No opportunities for SoHwan. He's been looking for them all game.
Kindred on the way, is rejoining the team.
No flash available this time, as every time these Void Seekers land, it is so scary. bonO down to half health now. Platoon gonna go wide. Dread, like you say, has turned back up again. Shock blasts flying through, and the siege of this Afreeca squad, pretty considerable actually.
Be respectful of feathers, of sand soldiers. There is still threat here from Hanwha Life.
Well, there's the flash play. Respectful of that is a difficult one, and no Lamb's Respite, no life for Dread. The cooldown just about to come back up, but it's not actually there.
See the difficulty. They can't just make the set piece play. They've got them all those free turrets. They will eventually get the inhibitor. They're taking losses in doing so. This is very much a gold lead, smacking them very literally in the face on sangyoon.
Yep, this is playing 4v5 without your jungler who was fed, because you've just got a 10,000 gold lead. So actually you've still got about the same bankroll as you would with him in the death chamber.
And most of Dread's job was done early, Atlas, so he's, you know, not feeling great about inting twice, but
that's Dread's playstyle. That's how he plays it. I mean, if he was the Elise, he just doesn't die early. He dies late.
Nice Cocoon here, pausing most of this. Look at how much health bar turnaround there is at the end with the frenzy stats.
Yeah.
Insane.
Really nicely attempted.
Really, we're going to have the Dread dead roll. Turns out, flash play pretty good. Yeah. Not a lot of magic resist interaction.
Also, not a lot of respect being given by Dread and the rest of the Afreeca Freecs, and they were still able to get the inhibitor in the mid lane. Still growing that gold lead. A minute now until the next Baron is available. Void stuff done for Tempt is actually big. He's going to start to do damage, and sangyoon, he's got a stopwatch and his first 3 items.
Hanwha Life could definitely win a team fight from 10,000 gold behind. Oh, it seems impossible when it's 4 Drakes and all the other buffs, but this is
This is Afreeca Freecs, man.
But this is also a god tier team comp for team fights. Yes, Elise doesn't get to do very much, but as long as Elise and Thresh bait 5 people to walk up, and now we also know Afreeca don't need much impetus to walk up.
Nope, they walk up no matter what.
Then it's going to be hurting.
Now he's landing all of them.
And he's got no cooldown on it, basically, with the W evolve.
Yep, and the Luden's Echo completed. So he's got a hell of a lot of cooldown reduction in this particular build. Okay.
Amy will get a kill here.
Yeah. Oh dear. Key gonna be the good guy. He's gonna take that one down. No Guardian, but I think he deserves that Keystone on top of the Aftershock he already has.
And he's still got 2 more points worth of base damage to put in that ability, and all that harassment means that no one is in position for this Baron that's already dead, basically.
Yep. I probably wouldn't even go checking it.
Nope.
All right. Another gold injection. Time around, we're going to see whether Dread can keep his life. It was a lot of the Baron duration the first time around that the Kindred was just straight up not there for. He's now got a rapid fire cannon, so with extra range, you'd expect that he's not necessarily going to be taking at least the first shot in danger.
Didn't go Mercure Scimitar that day. Presumed he would, but rapid fire cannon, that's a very obvious interaction with Kindred. When the change first came in, I actually wasn't aware that rapid fire cannon had a maximum range it could grant, so I just assumed that at some point it'll be monstrous, but there's a cap, I believe, to how much can be extended, because the famous interaction was if you don't have much range, you don't get extended much, but the top end is also capped pretty conservative.
So you're not going to be like...
you don't have 750 range plus another 250 range.
It's not like you've got Rite of the Arcane as an auto attack every time you've charged up that energy.
Only Zareth.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Rite of the Arcane again.
No.
It's a fun ability name. Arcano Pulse? Brilliant. Whoever came up with that, god tier. Shocking Orb? Terrible. Not a great ability name.
Freeca trying to recreate their inner turret set piece plays on this very low health bot lane turret.
Big zoom out to check out that ward in position for SoHwan's teleport.
On top of Kiin basically a moment ago.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull the trigger at some point, right? Remember, Ucal can be there in a moment's notice when he is only a lane away. He
TP
has pulled
is
the
super
trigger
deep now.
Yep, but the rest of the team is just in the
Spotted
base.
on a control ward too.
Yep, spotted on another control ward now, and Afreeca, they are going to have first roam to get on over here. Can they find it? Dredgeline doesn't find the mark, as there's the sangyoon pull. We've thrown in the lantern, but it's too far for SoHwan to get back. Oh, he flashes onto it, picks that one up, but Achilles dies as an upthought. No Void Seeker, but that one would have killed SoHwan. Remember, this is AP Kai'Sa. And Afreeca Freecs, despite the fact that they weren't able to kill SoHwan, they were still able to get the pick they were looking for, and now are in once again a siege scenario. This composition works so well in that regard, especially now that they have double Mountain Drake. Dread almost doesn't have his life, though. It would be good if they had that guy still alive. Not a lot of life steal either in this build.
Closing the game here with this much AoE damage. It's very difficult. Xayah can kill these minions.
Ow. Oh, God.
Just stop it.
It continues. Kiin's going to have another Shock Blast real soon. Oh, the fountain, thank goodness.
Just causes you like to have a tremor every time it happens. So much damage.
There's another one. Okay, 7. Oh,
another
just
TP.
Gets all the value. Yeah, Tempt going for the flank this time. Makes it back to his team. Good sidestep. That would have killed you, Kiin, I think. I've underestimated that damage before, and do it at your peril. Aiming is extraordinarily strong. All of the inhibitors are now dead. All of the teleports have been expended. It's going to have to be that straight up 5v5 team fight, and Hanwha Life is going to have to pray for a miracle.
Oh yeah, I mean at this point it feels like old AP Nidalee Spears with a cooldown reduction.
Yeah.
Now of course it's way later in the game, you need a lot more gold to do it, but I'm feeling pretty visceral here as there's that wall.
Yeah, Ucal's going to jump off it, just trying to get them onto split out of territory, and in the space of the CC bar, Tempt trying to get out as well as do some damage. He's unable to. Dread locks down that kill, and it looks like Afreeca Freecs have done it. They've kept their playoff dreams alive. Dread is going to murder himself, but he's just having fun. He's on his favorite champion. Aiming needed that big shield as the Ignite ticks down, but Kiin, he keeps his wits around him, and they will be able to take down the Nexus. A 2-1 victory is pivotal here for the Afreeca Freecs. They're now desperately hoping that Gen G are going to not win 2-0. And their opposition, very difficult. They're up against Damwon Gaming. Damwon could ruin Gen G's hopes and dreams. But man, the playoffs are still well and truly up in the air, apart from the fact that we have said goodbye to KingZone.
KingZone out. Hanwha Live still in relegation battle against KT, but tomorrow answers a lot of questions. If KT rolls to beat KingZone, then Hanwha Live has to beat Griffin. Gets tricky there. Sandbox play SKT in the second match tomorrow. If SKT loses, Afreeca Freecs are in playoffs because SK Telecom would be at 10 match wins, and Afreeca Freecs now have 11.
Oh, no, SKT will be at 11. SKT already at 10.
If SKT loses tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll stay at 10.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Afreeca Freecs should be at 11 and
Oh,
thus
right.
qualified
Okay,
for playoffs.
Oh man, sorry. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's hard to wrap your head around
That's
how
okay.
this one works. I'm even looking directly at the standings while I'm asking you this stupid question.
I got this one. But
Cool.
all you need to know is 3 teams had 1 match left to get to 11 match wins. Afreeca Freecs were the first, they got it, so they're at 11. What does it all mean? We need to know how many match wins SKT and Gen G will finish with. If SKT win by any margin, they're guaranteed in playoffs because they have great game score, so they're insulated at the top. Gen G would have to beat their opponents, Damwon Gaming, 2-0 if Sandbox was to lose to SKT tomorrow to guarantee their spot. If they also win 2-1, then we have a tiebreaker between Afreeca Freecs and Gen G for the final playoff spot. So there's a really tight race here, guys, and you don't need to have your head around it all today, but basically every game played from now, we're checking in on playoffs, we're checking in on positions, and we close the season with Griffin shooting for first place.
Yeah, we're finding out so much more tomorrow as well. Unfortunately, this means that KingZone versus KT going to be more about KT trying to battle their way out of relegation. They're still desperate to find that win. Hanwha dropping to the Afreeca Freecs means that there is still hope that KT Rolster remain in the LCK and do not need to play in that promotion tournament. But still looking dicey because they have to win. Hanwha Life do have a guaranteed better game score, and it even got worse as that one game was won here in this series.
Well, it couldn't get much worse than level 1 for Hanwha Life. In this one, they needed more of a plan, but they used their wards. They used all their information to, sadly, run it down at level 1, and that just really, it didn't matter how many counter plays you made, it just, the cost was too high.
Yeah, even Senan straight up inting into 3 people, not enough. And this is what happens. Yeah, exactly. bonO couldn't even repel him. He was just in.
It was never worth play-by-play with all of Atlas's lung capacity. bonO's deaths, because they were so damn fast in the team fights.
There's only so many times you can say, oops, he's dead.
Yeah. It was a little, for me. Kind of same thing I say when AP Kaiser gets going. It's really yucky. Maybe we should trim some AP ratio from that, just like Ezreal had some AP ratio trimmed from his ability.
Dread feeling a bit balanced at this particular moment as the lifeline almost ticked in enough, but wasn't quite able to do so. Felt like the DPS of the Azir was enough at that stage of the game, and Hanwha Life did have this brief moment where it felt like maybe their composition was going to start working.
How much time is there between bonO having full health and being dead? Let's watch this one. Full health.
It's like they closed the door.
1.2 seconds.
They certainly had the insect screen set up as far as getting back into the house was concerned. bonO, unacceptable. Sorry. And this is going to be the end of this game. Afreeca Freecs. It was all about the early game. There are still a lot of questions here for Afreeca. I mean, as far as how we've started off week 10, we've been celebrating a lot of really clean play from our victors in a lot of our series. I think this was the first truly messy one where we didn't really have an idea. Yes, SKT didn't play the cleanest League of Legends, but on the side of Damwon in that series, they were very, very clean. This was some ping pong between these two squads, and Afreeca's game number 1 was woeful. So they're going to have to do a heck of a lot of work moving towards playoffs, and now, from now until then, they will have some time, and it's likely that they're going to be spending some time in the wildcard match trying to figure things out. So
top 3 is already set, so there is no best of 5 auto seeding for the teams competing, Gen G, SKT, and Afreeca. Some combination of those 3 will be the first best of 3 match, and here's what I'll say about Afreeca. It's been a successful season for them already. They finished 5th or 6th for a team that obviously had almost no match wins in spring season, so a big level up from them. They have a very rookie lineup, so they had a lot of learning to do, and I think no-face coaching and being the solo coach in summer has worked for this team. And I'll say also, you don't really want to play them in playoffs, because on their day, they can do amazing things. They can also do the not-so-amazing things, but that variance in an elimination match, that's pretty scary.
Well, 404, some of those Void Seekers not found, to be honest, because they were going through people, it felt like. But when they started hitting hard. And it started hitting hard early in this game, as you can see.
I don't want to watch this again. It's very sad.
We've seen it a lot of times as well. I feel like we're celebrating just how sad this particular first blood is. But this was pretty cool. Aiming demonstrating that, yeah, he's a fake guy.
Hanwha Life continue to not peter out. Look, this one obviously was very, very early game, but I think overall in the series they were super competitive, right? So
yeah. This is a Hanwha that we're really excited about making it back into the LCK. I don't know whether you can say the same thing about KT Rolster that are going to be up against Kingzone tomorrow, but we'll see whether they can change our minds as we head to the MVP interview. So here's Jason.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Jason with the Never Translation, and we'll be hearing from Kiin and Amy from Afreeca Freecs. Hanwha Life, their performance was on point, so how say you match up against them? Well, even in the mid phase in the game number 2, we thought that we'll be going home early, but we were lucky to kind of turn that around. And aiming, yeah, game number 1 was really hard, and also game number 2 was close as well. So what kind of feedback did you guys have? So I mean, we just have to go aggressively. We just have to go all in. So we were like grouped up, and we were just moving in one thought. So let's go back to game number 2. Kiin, your Aatrox was the guardian of the team. There were a lot of fights in game, and also the game was game back and forth in game number 2. So when did you feel like you got the momentum? Well, the team fight at the inhibitor, I think we kind of won that fight, and after that, we thought that we might be able to turn the game around. So let's take a look at the team fight that Kiin just mentioned. Kiin, you actually went for a flank. Well, they tried to engage on our players, so I also wanted to go in for some engage in the damage to the dealers. And even after that, we could see how powerful Aatrox is right now. Do you agree that it's a too OP right now? Well, speaking of Aatrox, well, it's a very comfortable champion to just blind pick it, so I want to say it's my number 1 tier champion. And game number 3. Whoa! Hanwha Esports just went for blind pick Thresh.
일단 라인전 1세트를 졌기 때문에
So since we lost game number 1, we wanted to go with champions or competition with a stronger laning priority. Well, so we wanted to go for a composition that also has a synergy. So we went with Kaisa and Nautilus for bot lane. And also, Dread went with unorthodox pick, Kindred. Well, how was he able to lock in such an important situation? I mean, Dread is always confident in Kindred. Well, we were really doing well, but after we picked up the Baron, he was getting caught out a lot. But overall, I think we did a great job. And also game number 3. Well, the game was actually over in the invade phase. This was actually 2v3, but how are you able to just go in for that? Well, we weren't really sure whether it's gonna be 2v3. We were like having a tournament-like fight over there, so we were just keep pushing in, and we called Talia for backup. And we heard the players tell Talia to get that blue buff, but you actually took it. I mean, it had a lot of HP, so I just wanted to help him doing some leash, but it was my mistake. Did you say sorry? Not really. Well, someone did pick it up, right? So that was a nice start for Afreeca. And also, we have another solo kill highlight over here. So how did you calculate that? Well, Alice was quite low at that moment. So I was just like wishing for a lucky shot over there, but with my W, I saw his HP getting chunked a lot, so I just went in. Well, sadly, since you guys dropped the game in game number 1, we have to kind of wait to see the Genji's results to know whether if you guys can make it to playoffs. So any message for the Tamon players? Well, in the spring split, we were close to the relegation zone, but Tamon saved our soul, so we have a strong connection, Tamon and Afreeca, so if you guys help us this time around again, maybe we will make it up to you, so hopefully. Well, I can see a storyline going on over there between Tamon and Afreeca.
도와주시면 기인 선수가 행복할 것 같습니다. 자, 그리고 에이밍 선수
And aiming.
오늘 마지막 서머 스플릿 마지막
Today was the last game for the regular split.
쳤습니다. 팬분들께 감사의 인사
So any message for the fans?
마지막 경기라 많은
Since
분들이
it's the
오셨는데
last game, I see a lot of fans here at the arena.
졌지만
Even though we lost the game today, but we
이기면 된 거니까
turned the game around and we got the match win. So we're just gonna trust Tamon from now on and wishing for a playoff
자,
run.
여러분 큰 박수 한번 보내주시기 바랍니다. 다음 주에 만나뵐
Next
수
week,
있겠죠?
maybe?
그렇죠. 그러길 바라야죠.
Hopefully.
기대해 보도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 정말 고생 많으셨고요.
Well, this will be the end of the
감사합니다.
interview with Kiin Gaming from Afreeca Freecs, and I'm gonna pass
선수
it back to our casters. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ji-sun, once again for another beautiful interview, especially this late as well, bordering on past the 11 o'clock mark in the PM. Here in Korean Standard Time, we're going to check in on the standings. As you can see, Afreeca Freecs bumping SKT down to 5th place and bumping Gen G out of that playoffs race. Kingzone, no chance of making it into playoffs, but Gen G still with a shot. Be it a marginal one, they do need to get a 2-0 victory over Hanwha Gaming to avoid tiebreakers and get rid of the Afreeca Freecs, and then SKT needs any kind of win over Sandbox in order to get themselves through. Otherwise, you know, it's all up to fate. It's just a really crazy season. Still not figuring things out yet.
The simplest way to think about it is victory for SKT or Gen G and you stay alive. The only part where the tiebreaker comes in is if Gen G win 2-1. But if you lose the match, you're out, baby. And that's kind of the reality there if one of the other team wins. Here we have the idea for the relegations, though. KT have to win. They have to win the match against Kingzone, otherwise they're going down, Atlas. It's that simple.
Yep, and Kingzone, they have to just beat KT. And if you look back through history, and yes, these organizations have changed a heck of a lot, especially in power level. Kingzone was always just able to beat KT out of nowhere in a lot of situations.
But on their day, you know, KT still have those wily veterans, and if they can turn it on, it might be the last time they play together.
And they're going to be the ones,
right?
Yeah, and they're going to be the ones that are hungry for it, right, Papa Smithy? This is the team that has something to play for, and Kingzone, not so much. They are out of playoff contention. They can't get into the relegation zone. They're in that safe zone, which doesn't feel so good at this part of the
It could
season.
be a blissful goodbye for Prey, Score, all these players. If they turn it on tomorrow, they're done for the season, and they're not going to be relegated most likely.
Yep, and that will mean that Hanwha has to win against Griffin, which is crazy. We're back with more LCK tomorrow. Good night.
You take me higher when I feel low. Make my world brighter when I'm alone. I keep on rolling, all with your fuel. You're like my gasoline that makes my dream come true. 'Cause this is the beginning. Together we'll be winning. With you I'm a